chair of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Will it be Tim Hogan? It's going to be Christopher DeMerit at the line.
The following is a presentation of the iRacing Esports Network.
This season marks a new beginning. New heights will be reached. New records will be broken. A new champion will be crowned. Competition, commitment, excitement. This is Lionheart. You're watching the premier American open wheel series on iRacing. The Lionheart IndyCar Series presented by First Medical Equipment starts now.
"15 races into a season and you have two drivers deadlocked in the point standings. For race fans and broadcasters alike, that's heaven on a stick, baby." Presented by First Medical Equipment, the Lionheart IndyCar Series comes to Virginia for the Butt Kicker 200 at Richmond, round 15 on the 24 event season 6 calendar. And you can see all the action from green flag to victory donuts right here on the Global Sim Racing channel via the iRacing Esports Network. From Old Dominion, the mother of presidents, hello and welcome to GSRC's Countdown to Green, presented by the Sim Pit. As cyberspace flows into your place over the next 15 minutes, GSRC will bring you all the storylines, all the stats and facts you'll need to be haptically immersed in the simulated Dallara IR18 action that will immediately follow as we count down to green for the Butt Kicker 200 at Richmond. I'm Bill Soupson, sharing the microphone with former real-world IndyCar driver Richie Hearn. Amjad Yaman has director duties, armed with cameras, locked and loaded by Dougie Beard. Now, the last time out at Spa, it was pure domination from Adam Blocker, who led every lap from the pole on his way to victory. Andrew Kinsella pulled out in an improbable second place with the last lap pass of Stefan Larkamp around the outside of Lacombe. Today, escargot and French champagne are replaced by Chesapeake Bay crabs and Budweiser. And the twists and turns of Spa are replaced by the D-shaped oval of Richmond. Richie, open wheel fans might not know a lot about this place. Tell us about tonight's venue.
Yeah, thank you, Soup. And folks, before I talk about the track, let me remind you that everything during the countdown to green comes courtesy of its sponsor, the Sim Pit. The Sim Pit's an entertainment channel dedicated to sim racing. Its focus is to bring you news, reviews, and information from around the world about sim racing hardware and software. It also focuses on what it takes to be a better sim racer with instructional video and the how-tos that will help your performance on the virtual track. Check it out at thesimpit.com. And speaking of virtual tracks, let's talk about today's venue. Today we're at Richmond Raceway. It's a 3/4 mile D-shaped asphalt oval located just outside Richmond, Virginia in Henrico County. It hosts the Monster Energy Cup Series and NASCAR Infinix Series, and in the past has hosted the IndyCar Series. It's got 14-degree bankings in the turns, 8 degrees on the front stretch, and only 2 degrees on the back. The two ends are very different from each other and take completely different approaches. Their entry into turn 1 is very wide and open, but tightens at the exit of turn 2 as the banking flattens out. It's very hard to get the power down. The entry into turn 3 is very narrow, but allows for a great passing opportunity as it opens up at the exit of 4, allowing you to carry the speed out of the corner. I've raced here a few times in IndyCar, and it's a lot of fun. You can really muscle this car around the place. The King, Richard Petty, holds almost every record here, including the most wins with 13, most poles, 8. He's led a total of 5,136 laps. But the best way to get a view of this place, let's jump on board that GSRC lap guide.
Hello everyone and welcome again to the Global Sim Racing Channel. I'm Brian Yasek, taking you for a very fast lap here around the Richmond Raceway in the GSRC IR18 IndyCar. So here we go. Fast way around Richmond for qualifying is always get those left side tires right towards the yellow line, pick up the throttle, drive it right off a corner exit, straight out to the wall, turn 3, get it right back down there. The entrance to turn 3 is a little tricky just because you carry so much speed off of turn 2. Back out onto the front stretch again. We could see a little bit of maneuvering around here as the run progresses, mainly just to try to get out of the dirty wake from the car in front of you. Time will tell if the setup and the weather and all of that really lines up. Turn 3, you can kind of take that higher arc, but drive it straight off of the corner, across the line, and that's going to complete our guide here around the Richmond Raceway. I'm Brian Yasek. Enjoy the show.
It does not take long to get around Richmond, about 4 laps a minute, 15 seconds or so. All right, let's go ahead and take a little longer, taking a lap around the, what we like to call the first medical equipment driver standings. And when the carrots, turnips, and Brussels sprouts are removed from the stew, you're left with the meat and potatoes, and that's just what we're showing you right now. The rules allow each driver to remove his or her 3 worst results from the pot, leaving 2 Adrenaline Motorsports teammates, Andrew Have-A-Catch Kinsella and Adam Blocker, tied for the lead. Blocker has 5 wins, Kinsella's got 3, and 88 points back in third is Brian Yasek, and he's got 3 wins for Loud Pedal Motorsports. No big climbers to talk about, no warm welcome to the overlays to give out, so the only thing left to do is go negative, and the disinfecting sunlight shines upon poor Jason Galvin, who fell 3 positions. After missing Spa, the no-name racing star has cashed in all of his drop insurance. The next miss race will count as 0. Let's go ahead now and move to the team championship, sponsored by HBP Simulations. Much to the chagrin of Bernie Sanders, the rich keep getting richer, and Adrenaline Motorsports won the day at Spa by an alarming 55 points. Adam Blocker won the race. His teammate Andrew Kinsella came in second. And if that wasn't enough, how about Joe Branch chipping in 8th place points as well? But there is other news. The Cinderella team of Season 6 Championship is Controlled Chaos. Scott Bolster, Samuel Ryman, and Bob Mikas finished 3rd at Spa, outscoring Loud Pedal Motorsports by 48 points, moving them down into 5th, and Chaos goes up into 4th. Now, the glass slipper may be tight fit to get to a podium spot, but until the clock strikes 12, Controlled Chaos is going to be the belle of the ball. Now, to a man who is well versed in Disney princesses, here's Richie to talk about the rookies.
Yeah, these rookie standings are presented by Butt Kicker, and we definitely have a nice battle for 1st and 2nd, with Steven Larkamp is sitting in 1st place. He's also moved up in 4th in the overall standings, and he's only 51 points ahead of Justin Weaver there, who moves up the spot also to the overall into 9th. Samuel Ryman finished 10th at Spa, but picked up 9 incident points, hurting his chances to win that clean driver world. This is going to be tough to be clean on this track, as we're going to have a lot of action. But that battle for the Butt Kicker Rookie of the Year stand seems to be a 2-horse battle at the moment.
And there you have it. Now, considered the premier fixed setup racing league for the Dallara IR18 on the iRacing service, the Lionheart IndyCar Series honors the memory of the late Dan Weldon. And Dan played a big part in the development of the old DW12. Now, we talked about this during the action so far in the season, and I'm going to tell you about the term we talked about, and it's aero push. It's associated with the IndyCar, and that the IR18 has less aero push than its predecessor, the old DW12. But what does that really mean? Professor, what is the air actually doing?
Well, on most surfaces, such as the nose cone, side pods, and engine cover, the car is merely displacing air. Essentially, it is creating a hole in the air because of its shape. But certain surfaces, the wings, serve a different function. They generate downforce for the car, which forces the car into the ground, vastly improving the grip. To accomplish this, they are shaped like upside-down airplane wings and uses Soup's favorite principle, the Bernoulli principle, to generate that downforce. This means that above the wing is a high-pressure zone and below the wing is a low-pressure zone. Now, this is really good for generating grip, but as your high school science class taught you, air, when left alone, wants to move from high to low pressure. So once that wing has passed through the air, the high-pressure air wants to rush down and mix and dance with the low-pressure air that is beneath the wing. When it does this, it creates small spirals or vortices. This is what IndyCar drivers refer to as dirty air. Once a car has passed through a packet of air, the next car will, if it is following close enough behind, air that is less dense, worse for generating downforce, and full of these turbulent vortices. This means that the trailing car wings will be less efficient than the first car through the air of calm air. The IR18 produces less of this turbulence air, so it has less aero push than the DW12, but all cars with wings will have aero push, as you will undoubtedly see tonight at Richmond.
I'm telling you, there is no better sim pit countdown to the green than one that mentions 18th century Swiss mathematician and physicist Dan the Man Bernoulli, my favorite scientist, and little known fact, one mean mandolin player. All right, now, before the grand poobahs at the iRacing Esports Network start composing some type of email to GSRC asking Soup to stay on topic, let's go back to Richie to tell us about the race details.
And these series details come to us thanks to the Sim Pit. We are at Season 6 here of the Lionheart IndyCar Series and round 15 of 24. They do get 3 drops, as we've mentioned before. We're running the new Dallara IR18. The setups are adjusted fixed setups, but we're also working on a cash and prizes totaling $6,402.
There you have it. And qualifying is underway. And we got to jump to it quickly because those lap times so fast, we won't get much chance. These guys are going to get their times in really quickly. No surprise to see, there he is, Adam Blocker up on top again. There's Dandy Dan Guerin.
Yeah, Adam Blocker's been on a roll lately. He's on the ovals, road courses. He's right up there on top. And Dan Guerin, he's been up top too, but he's had some rough moments, just some bad luck this year, keeping him out of that winner spot. And this is going to be a tough track. It really, I expect to see a lot of yellows. You're going to have to just muscle your way around. Hopefully we'll see a second groove as we get going here, and you can pass on the outside, but even then it's going to be tight. Did get some inside information that tires on the cold, when they're cold, are extremely hard to handle. So when they come and change tires, those restarts and stuff are going to be something to watch.
Yeah, we expect them to go about 60 laps on fuel, but we doubt we're going to get that far for a couple reasons. A, I think the tires are going to fall off. And B, I think we're going to see yellow flags before. We'll be lucky to see a green flag pit stop. We talked about Dan Guerin. Well, he made his way all the way up to the top. Right now, we ride on with Brian Yosick in the HPP Special. Brian currently 11th. He can't be happy with where he's sitting right now, especially on this track where passing is going to be kind of hard to do.
Oh, yeah, very tough. But, really, if you look at the times, the difference between first and let's go all the way down to 35th is less than, well, let's go to 31st is less than a second. So it's very tight with only 15 seconds around. It's not going to take much to move up, but I'm surprised about seeing Andrew Kinsella down there in 24th spot. He's going to have a tough go if he wants to keep working on that points lead. And not that he can't get there, but being that far back, you're going to be subject to any kind of shenanigans that are going on.
You don't want to fall into any shenanigans. And that reminds me of one driver here, Joe Flanagan. No shenanigans for him as he made himself a nice 6th place finish. I was just looking at that. Qualifying is done. So you know what that means? It's time to go racing. And when it is time to go racing, nothing beats the feel of a true hydraulic braking system from HPP Simulations, designed and manufactured in the United States on state-of-the-art CNC equipment. HPP's hydraulic pedals and their accessories set the standard for simulation racing. For more information, please visit, now this is easy to remember, hppsimulation.com. Okay, let's go to the HPP starting grid right now as qualifying is just wrapping up. We'll take it a row at a time. Dan Guerin and Dan Blocker fill up the front row. Richie?
Yeah, next row is going to be Chris Lanini and Joe Branch.
Pierre Nidendagla and Joe Flanagan sit 5th and 6th.
Row 4 is going to start Tony Schoen and Ian Adams.
5th row's popular by Tyler Graff and Michael Goodman.
Yeah, coming up on row 6 will be Brian Yosick and Justin Weaver.
That's the spot is Peter Edwins inside of Bob Mikas.
Next up's going to be Christopher and the Racing Kangaroo Gray.
George Anzaldo and Jack Bogan populate the next row.
Row 10 is going to be Dustin Wardlow and Big Joe Hazard.
And then we get down to Isaiah Cousin Dupree in the blackjack position inside of Matthew Mercer.
After that, in row 12, it's going to be Brandon Linkerman and Andrew Kinsella.
Ooh, tied for the points lead. Habaket's going to have some work to do. Robert Bluen and Samuel Ryman go 25th and 26th.
Starting 27th will be Brian Greenlee, and 28th will be Ed Tutwiler.
Greenlee is our spotlighted driver tonight. Ron Hacker and Stefan Larkamp, the top rookie, way back in 30th.
That's going to be a tough go for him. Next up is going to be Scott Bolster in the 31st position and James Krahula in the 32nd spot.
Greg West is starting south down in 33rd position. Bart Workman flanking him.
And starting in 35th is going to be Brian Beard, and last on the field will be Scott Johnson.
And there you go. And our drivers are now starting to grit their car up here tonight under a nice, clear Virginia sky that's pushing down on the racetrack. We're going to look at our onboard cameras. First up, the number 73 of Brandon Limpkeman for First Medical. They've been the source of medical supplies and equipment in the Burlington area for many years. And how about we look at George Anzaldo in the Turf Monkey onboard camera. Don't monkey around with your yard this season. Make it look bananas. Turf Monkey Lawn Care. And then, of course, it is Bobby Mr. Meat Van Hansen. It is Bob Mikas of the Van Hansen onboard camera. VonHansen.com since 1983 has delivered personalized full service in a friendly, old-fashioned meat market environment.
Yeah, here we are starting that pace lap here. And we're going to get 2 laps here because this track is a little bit short, like say only 15 seconds round. Action is going to be quick and fast. hopefully these guys can get a nice clean start. You know, it's going to be tough with this many cars on this short track. We've got 36 cars out there and cold tires. So hopefully these guys just be a little patient. And one thing that's going to come into play, Soup, is lap traffics. These guys, Dan Guerin and Adam Blocker, are going to come up on the back of the field within 5 to 10 laps, I believe.
Yeah, it's a pretty good sized field here for this little size track. I guess not by NASCAR standards, but at least when I see open wheel, this many cars out here, it does seem a little bit crowded, a little bit populated out there. Blocker on the outside, Guerin on the inside. Richie, I guess the inside's where you want to be on the start, huh?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to get the power down, but you definitely want the inside going into turn one. You know, especially on the fresh tires, and here they go.
Yeah, they're at the chicken steak covering on the cow. Oh no! The horse is not out of the barn. It stumbles out of the gate. Dan Guerin spins it right off. There is no yellow flag. It didn't take luck for the horseshoe to land on his head. Another spinner. The first lap we stayed green. We have 2 cars off to the side. The second one, Tony Schowen.
Yeah, that's a tough go. That's a full Roberto Guerrero moment there, just spinning off the.
And then there's
the
more.
Start.
We're going to replay this whole first lap if we're able to. Brian Greenlee, Stefan Larkamp, Bart Berkman, out of 4 get involved.
Yeah, that's the danger of starting in the back there. There goes Brian Greenlee and just clips Stefan Larkamp. He's our rookie of the standings leader and also 4th in points, getting caught up early on. And he's just got nowhere to go. I mean, he's just coming to the green, coming to turn 3, and you know, everybody just goes, and that's just the way it happens here. It happens really quick.
All right, now we're going to look at Guerin. This is right off the start. You know, they need to not have a driver's meeting. They just need to listen to the GSRC Countdown to Green, sponsored by the SimPit. We told them the tires were cold.
Yeah, and you can see he's starting in first gear here, which you know, probably a little bit tough on those cold tires. And you know, you just want to go and away you go, right around. And unfortunately, doesn't look like he hit anything, so he's going to survive to get going again. The yellow is going to help him out, but man, that's disappointing for Dan. It's just been that kind of year for him.
I guess he got a little bit lucky there with at least the yellow coming out. He doesn't lose a lap. He'll just basically start the race now from the back. Well, I don't know if we accomplished much because we still have to do that again.
Yeah, and Adam Blocker's now sitting in second. Andrew Kinsella, our points tied for the points. He survived that wreck there. He's moved up 3 positions, 21st, and we'll see if they can do this again. But, you know, I kind of expect this is going to happen until we get going a little bit. It's a very tough place.
So Brandon Lindkeman took a pit stop. Greg West, Bart Workman, and I believe they are still out there racing. Let me double check that. I believe that's okay. Greenlee, Larkamp, Schowen, they're in trouble. Believe it or not, Dan Guerin spun the tires. He didn't even come in. He just decided he'll stay out there.
Yeah, he's not going to do much damage when they're that cold, so he's just got to kind of relax. And just now he's back with the mess, though, so he's going to have to just take it easy. And you know, the trouble with being that far back, no matter how fast you are, when you get bottled up, you know, your lap times slow down. These leaders are going to come around very, very quick. So you definitely don't want to go a lap down because there's no lucky dog.
Lights are still on the pace car, so we'll go around at least one more time. The lights. Now look, that puts a new leader up here, Chris Sleepy Lellini. I like to call him Sleepy because he's notoriously not a great qualifier. Well, I guess I started using that nickname last race. He said, "Enough of that, Soup." Found himself gridded in 3rd. And now up on the front here to start us when we go back to green. Good job, Chris.
Yeah, so let's see if he can have a good start here. I just noticed Tony Schoen, who started 7th, he's exited the car and hit the shower, so he's called it a day, and that's too bad.
Look for some big movers that were able to avoid all the nonsense going on in front of us. Chris Stouffer, racing in 9th, is up 6 positions. Michael Goodman has picked up 3 as he's in 7th. One of the things I like about this series is it has 2/3 ovals, 1/3 road courses, and basically we get we see some familiar names on both tracks, but the ovals and the road courses, we get to see some new names up there every once in a while, Richie.
Yeah, and that's how the real IndyCar series is. It's maybe a little bit on the other side where it's more road courses and ovals, but you definitely got to be good at everything. And as we're coming to green, getting ready for a single file restart.
All right, this worked a little bit this time, a little better as Chris Sleepy Lanini gets on the throttle nicely and leads the field down into the first corner. Blocker, Branch, Adams, and Degla. We got more problems. Could it be Jack Bogan? Off of corner number 4, before they even get started, he loops it around, pins it into the inside wall. Luckily, everyone gets around him.
Yeah, he's done a lot of damage to that car, as you can see. You got the replay coming up. And hopefully these guys just settle down, just take it easy. You know, once again, starting in that first gear. You can see he's in first gear right now. You know, if it was me, I'd probably maybe dump it into second and just get going.
Poor Brian Beard was stuck on the inside lane, and Bogan was down there, but he had room to get around. Nice job from Brian Beard. So, Chris Lanini gets one restart under his belt, gets that figured out. Oh, and I believe we have somebody ready to talk to us here for an interview. Let's go ahead and bring in our top rookie. Well, Stefan Larkamp, you're leading in the rookie standings, but it was a quick night for you tonight. This is kind of unlucky.
Definitely unlucky there. It's really disappointing. I mean, I know I knew the situation was likely going to happen given what I saw in practice, but it just sucks when you're the guy that it gets involved in the mayhem. And unfortunately, I was stuck in the back. I had a horrible run in qualifying. I overtook my hot lap, and Greenlee got on the apron in 3. I've seen a lot of people do that, and I guess he just couldn't get it locked down enough and spun up the track into me. And I'm really unfortunate way to end the night. And it leaves I just wanted to survive this one. Richmond's definitely not a favorite. It was never really a favorite of mine, but surviving it would have been fine. Because we just didn't get that this time.
Yeah, what you didn't need is a 23rd grid position there. You really needed to have something a little better, at least give you a chance to miss it. Tell us about the tires. They are ugly when they're cold, and they're ugly when they're worn?
Ugly when they're cold for sure. I think they're a bit better when they got some wear into them, but that's comparing two things that you're not necessarily going to enjoy in the first place.
Well, let me ask you this: as the lights are off the pace car, so we're going to go. No, it's still good. We're going around one more time, so I have time for another question here. Fuel stint about 60 laps. Assuming you guys get your act together and we have a fuel run, can you do 60 laps on these tires, or do you think you're going to have to come in early because the pace is going to slow down so much?
Therein lies the question. I mean, I've seen some people try it either way. I mean, the time fall off towards the end of the stint is kind of substantial, so I wouldn't be surprised to see people trying to undercut each other. So it's gonna be interesting to see what that'll entail in the end. Unfortunately, I'm not gonna be one of those experimenting with that.
Get you out of here on this question. I know you're a student at Pennsylvania. Are you still studying? Are you done? Have you graduated? What's up?
It's my final year at Penn State, so it's going to be an exciting time.
All right. Well, good luck the rest of this season and your final semesters as well.
Yep. See you in Charlotte.
There you have Stefan Larkamp. And now we have a few guys coming in here to top off at the end of this stint. Oh, I think they're maybe trying to get a little damage done down there.
Yeah, he talked about 60 laps under fuel. I'd be really surprised if fuel comes into play here. It's going to be all about just surviving, pitting every green flag, getting fresh tires. And here we go.
Pace car is in. So for his second restart, Chris Lanini gets a nice roll out of corner number 4, takes him down into corner number 1. It's the same 4 guys behind him: Blocker, Branch, Adams, and Degla. Pierre having a nice run. The back half of your top 10, Joe Kennigan, Flanagan, Michael Goodman, Chris Stouffer, Tyler Graff on the outside. He's getting passed by Justin Weaver. A nice battle going on for 9th.
Yeah, Justin Weaver's been really strong lately, and he's making a good move. Looks like everybody's settled down a little bit and getting a little bit single file, getting some heat in those tires, and then we'll start get racing.
Oh, spinning off onto the grass. He's sliding like a trombone on a toboggan. Chris Stouffer. Do they bring out the yellow? No. No caution. We'll get a replay on that one.
Yeah, he's got some damage as well, so he's in the pits. But here's the replay. Once again, just probably just cold tires, and gets a little bit understeer, and then just sweeps on into the inside, and unfortunately hits that inside wall. And no caution, so we're going to continue on.
He spun off the racing line, kept the car going in the right direction, so bad news for him. Good news for the rest of the field, though. We stay under green.
Up front, Chris Leaney, Adam Blocker separated out by a little bit, so no dramas there. Joe Branch and Ian Adams. Ian Adams challenging Joe Branch for that 3rd spot. Ian Adams looking for a little bit high line, trying to get some clean air to those wings like we talked about, getting out of that dirty air. We also got a good battle with Michael Goodman. Justin Weaver doing a good job. Started 8th, 12th, moved up to 8th already. Everybody's kind of doing a good job getting into the rhythm. I think once we get in the rhythm, we'll get going and have some good racing.
And we got a caution. Dustin Wardlow. He got tipped. The Candyman. It was Peter Edwards in the 16 machine that got into him.
So that's the last time I'm going to say anything about running clean. Every time I say that, somebody spins.
Well, now, we look at that one. Peter Edwards maybe got chopped there. The Candyman may have come down on him. And then we'll go to Limpkeman. Brandon just had nowhere to go.
Yeah, that's the other problem with this place is it's so tight and you're just kind of on the edge the whole time. So if somebody does spin out, I mean, you really have nowhere to go, and it's just kind of luck if you miss them or not. So that's unfortunate for Brandon.
Now there's that spin, and that puts him up in, and then here comes Limpkeman through here, and he catches him. Pit stops now, as we're going to try this one more time. Oh, this time we're going to have a lot of action.
Well, they've gone 21 laps, even though most of it's under green. I'm assuming these guys are going to top up, fuel up, and get some tires. And, unfortunately, though, like for me, I'd be wary about being in the back with what we've seen so far. I think I just want to kind of cruise around and, move up and just find my spot until we get a little farther into the race.
So looking at all the guys that are coming in right now, who's maybe the guy who qualified the best? Well, Cannigan Flanagan is back in there. He decided to come in. He was racing up. Boy, he was up in like 6th position. I just would hate to give up that track position.
Yeah, that's a definite gamble for sure. And so we'll see. We'll kind of track his progress here. I mean, if we do go green a long ways, he's going to be in a good spot, but I think the odds are that that's not going to happen.
Well, it's like you said, it's not so much about losing the track position. It's just finding yourself back there in trouble. And let me talk to you about one of our sponsors here today. That is the guys from Butt Kicker. Now, the Gutamer Company is the maker of marine mammal safe, low frequency products, better known as Butt Kicker. If you're like me and enjoy the thrill of being haptically immersed, if you find the subwoofers that just move air doesn't do it for you because it loses accuracy and force, and only the actual powerful and accurate movement of mass provides the haptic immersion that you require to get that missing car-to-driver connection, then Butt Kicker products are the only way to go. See all the family of products at thebuttkicker.com. Use the promo code LION20 to get 20% off your order. Find out more by visiting them on Facebook at facebook.com/MidwestSim. And I'm telling you, if you had a Butt Kicker product tonight, a lot of guys would be getting good use out of that. You know, those Butt Kicker products, they're not just for sim racing. They're for any kind of video game you might want to play.
Yeah, I'm thinking about getting some of those myself as soon as I move and get my room all set up.
All right, time for this quick story about one of our GSRC comrades, Sean Ambrose, and his father. Of course, Senior Ambrose was a real-world racing car driver. He did some modified racing, and Sean's brother actually has a couple sim rigs with our full motion sim rigs, and his brother turned it up full speed, and they were all racing in separate rooms, and his brother said, "Go ahead, put Dad in the wall." Dad was in one of those full motion sim rigs. He put him in the wall. Sean did. Broke his father's ribs. So that is a true story. So lesson learned, if your dad's racing in a full motion sim rib, don't put him in the wall. Right now, somebody hoping not to be put in the wall is Chris Lanini. Boy, he's getting good at these starts. He's started lap number 25 here. This is Lanini, Blocker, Branch, Adams, and Dayluck.
And we get going again here, all single file restart. Like I said, we got Chris Lanini and Adam Blocker, but we got a good battle. Ian Adams really looking to get around Joe Branch. He's looking high, he's looking low. And here he goes. He's going to try to go around the outside in turn one. I don't think the groove is kind of settled in there yet. Your real best passing opportunity is to get underneath them coming into turn 3 and just kind of powering out of turn 4. But sometimes you got to work on these guys in front of you really for a while. And he's so close to the back of them. Ooh, here he goes. He's going to work the outside, and he's going to make that move. Let's see if he can hold the outside line. If he can stay there, he's going to get the better drive off the corner. And he makes it happen, it looks like.
Got it done.
Yeah, that was a great move. He was working on that for a while, so nice job by Ian Adams moving up to 3rd place.
Oh, we got another spinner. It's the red car of Tyler Graff. And it's a black car. No, there's no red on that one at all. Right now he's seeing red because Brian Yosik in the HPP special got into his right rear and turned him around.
Yeah, here they come, coming down the front straightaway. It's the front straightaway is not straight at all. It's continuously turning in and just keeps tightening it up. And unfortunately, I don't know if he knew he was there. He just kind of clipped him in the rear.
I think Groff had a good run into was up on Ron Hacker, had to lift a little bit, caught Yosik by surprise. So another one bites the dust. Now here's the good news for you fans watching: no fast repairs in a Lionheart IndyCar League. The field will eventually thin out. We might get down to like one driver, but we will have a winner here.
Yeah, I just noticed Joe Branch is pitting from 4th spot, so that's pretty aggressive. He's going to be, looks like the lone guy pitting, so he's going to move himself into the back. But, you know, as we have these wrecks, we will be eliminating people as we go, so the field will thin out.
So what we'll do right now here on the Global Sim Racing channel and the iRacing Esports Network is take a short break, but don't go far. We'll be back before we go green.
The SimPit is an entertainment channel dedicated to the world of simulated motorsports. The SimPit is a leader in providing the sim racing community with news, reviews, interviews, DIY pieces, and instructional videos to make sim racing a better experience for all. Check us out at thesimpit.com or go to YouTube and just search for the SimPit.
Streaming cyberspace into your place via the iRacing Esports Network. Welcome back to the Global Sim Racing Channel's coverage of the Lionheart IndyCar Series. It's the Butt Kicker 200 at Richmond, round 15 on the 24 event season 6 calendar. You're looking there at Chris Lanini. He's our leader right now as he's working. We'll be working lap number 35 as we go back under green for yet another time.
Yeah, he gets a good start, gets a little bit of run off of Adam Blocker, but Adam Blocker's hanging in there. He's looking high into turn 3, not quite there just yet. Back behind these guys, Ian Adams did a good job muscling his way up to third spot, and he's got a little bit of a train of cars going on behind him with Pierre Dago, the cork in the bottle right now.
We have 2 races in 1 going on right now. We have 14 drivers up front that have yet to make a pit stop this entire event. Then we got the driver back in 14th position. Maybe we can go back to Flanagan real quick, see where he is up to right now. He's leading of all the cars that are going to stay out. Yep, he's in 14th. Keep an eye on him. He's right behind Scott Bolster. And it's getting pretty hot and heavy down there. A pass was just made. That's Dandy Dan Guerin in 11th. Just got around Bolster. Bolster really slow.
Yeah, Dan Guerin trying to make up for that mistake on the first start. Started on pole, spun out on his own, and he's been fortunate not to be caught up in anything. He's made his way back up to 11th position. So we know he has a fast car. So we'll see if he can get back up there. He's got Matthew Mercer in front of him, and he's going to go right on the inside of him there. That was a good move by Dan Guerin.
Guerin is one of the drivers that have been out the entire time.
And now he's got George Exalto in his sight, and Dan's not wasting any time. He's got to be aggressive.
Nope.
He's got to be aggressive to get back up there. We got some battles right behind these guys I'm watching. We got almost 3 wide between basically Joe Flanagan, Brian Yazik, Scott Bolster. Brian Yazik muscling his way. Oh, Joe Flanagan's... No, it's Scott Bolster working his way around them, holding on to that 12th position, who started 31st, so good on him.
Yeah, the battle between the blue car there of Yazik and the yellow car of Flanagan, that's the battle for who we think is going to be leading here, and not too long, because they're the guys who have made the most recent pit stop. They're going to be able to stay out there. Flanagan right now working on Bolster as he's managed to get around Yazik.
We got our points tied for points there. Andrew Kinsella didn't have a great qualifying position, but he's been able to stay out there, and he also pitted as well, so he's moved himself up to 15th spot right behind Brian Yazik. So we'll keep an eye on that as this race goes on, as his teammate and points leader tied with him is up in 2nd position. Meanwhile, Chris Lanini has dusted Adam Blocker off. Chris Lanini's really hooked up, and he's just kind of pulling away.
Boy, that battle continues. There goes Yazik trying to get underneath Bolster. Bolster's on the top side in the white and red car. Cannot get it done. Of course, you know Yazik in the HPP. Oh, no, in the wall. Ian Adams.
Oh, man, that's too bad. He was running a strong 3rd there. No caution. He's moving along, heading to the pit lane. Here's the replay. He's all by himself. And he just catches that inside apron. You see the car just get a little sideways. Gets to try to collect it, and then it's too late and ends up winding up the front of the car. He's coming down the pit lane right now. He should be able to repair that front wing, but he's definitely going to lose some laps trying to pit under green.
The 2 cars that he spun right in front of was the EcoBoost machine of Michael Goodman and the Moby Dickey's car of Justin Weaver. Those guys race 4th and 5th right now.
Yeah, they've already caught up to some lap traffic as well, so this didn't take very long. Got to give a shout out to Big Joe there. He started 20th. He's moved up to 6th position. But if we want to go back to our guys that have pitted before, Joe Flanagan has moved himself up to 11th. Andrew Kinsella has gotten by Brian Yazik. He's now in 13th. And so these guys says, if we keep going at this pace, these are going to be your leaders. If you got to pit under the green, you're in deep trouble. And so this might be something to kind of pay attention to if these guys keep racing clean like they are at the moment.
Now, if you're scoring at home, Kinsella is not on this late pit stop strategy.
No,
let me correct myself. He is, and he and Flanagan are the same there.
Yeah, they all pitted. He pitted about a lap later, but they're all really close. So we got a group of cars that pitted about 31 laps ago or so. And then you have a group of cars that are working lap 52, although half of that was under yellow.
Yeah, the car who did not pit, the guy who's mixing up his bolster there on the outside right ahead of Yazik in that fluorescent blue machine. He'll need to pit soon, but Flanagan now gets to race away from these guys.
Yeah, he's trying to do everything he can to stay in front of these guys. He's doing a good job. Brian is trying really hard to get around the outside of Andrew, and then he's got Scott right in front of him, kind of corking the bottle there. So once again, these guys are racing clean, but racing hard.
You got to start to wonder if you're Chris Lanini and Adam Blocker. Did we roll the dice one too many times, or is it suddenly going to stay green now, and we're going to be forced to make a green stop, pit stop? That would be crushing.
Yeah, it'll be tough, but we still have a long ways to go, so there'll be times to be able to make that up, and we're going to see different strategies. I'd be real surprised if these guys go completely without having a yellow. I'm not sure with the yellow flags that we run how far they can go at this point.
Right.
But we know under green, they can go about 60 laps, so we're only at that about now with those yellow flags.
And we had a lot of yellow flags going on. So why don't we take a second and look at Chris Lanini work a little bit of lap traffic here. He comes off on the back of Robert Lewin. Lewin in 24th. The last car on the lead lap. And we'll make short work of him.
Like I say, once again, they come around these guys really quickly, so you're going to see a lot of cars go a lap down if we keep going green. But you just got to just hang tight. You know, I mean, it's just one of those things. You got to just stay out of trouble and just see where you finish. You know, some of these guys did pit, so if it does go green, they'll make that lap up.
Next on the track and in the standings will be Peter Edwins. He races in 23rd position. The good news for Lanini is he's going to get these guys basically one at a time. He's not really coming up on any battles. And we are indeed working lap 60 now. This is where they said as far as they could go. But of course, like Richie said, so many of the early laps were under yellow. Let's go back and look at 10th position.
Yeah, we got basically George Anzaldo and those guys working hard on each other with Andrew Kinsella, Brian Yazik.
Now, Anzaldo is on old tires, so the blue car of Yazik going around, well, trying to go around him as he does not do it. Look at the momentum on the top side from Anzaldo.
Yeah, that's the one thing about...
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's one thing. As your tires wear out, you're going to move up a little bit, keep that momentum up. But, you know, he looks like he's handling pretty good. He's making Brian Yazik work the hard way. And but they do have fresher tires. And but it's not an easy pass. You can see that it takes about 2 or 3 laps to get that pass done. Meanwhile, Andrew Kinsella has cleared that group. And he's pulled away from Brian Yazik and moved himself up into 10th spot. So he's closing in on his teammate up into 2nd fairly quickly.
And Peter Edwins in 23rd just hit the wall. In fact, he decided to bring it into the pits before he gets lapped. We'll go to P3 right now.
Yeah, we got Pierre Daigle, Michael Goodman, Justin Weaver racing hard. Justin Weaver is having a great run once again. Started 12th, running 5th. But we're just going to, like we keep talking about it, we're going to have to keep an eye on who has to pit and who doesn't.
Well, these guys, if we can look here, you see that car up ahead there is is Robert Bluen. That's the blue car of Blockers going to try to get around us. They come up on lap traffic now. And again, these guys have got to be saying, where is my yellow flag? Can we get a replay on Ed King Tutwiler? He just put it in the wall, bounced into Ron Hacker. It just happened as I talk about it. We'll get a look at this. This was almost the yellow. There's the bounce into the wall. Woo! And there's Ron Hacker gets a piece of it. They keep going.
Yeah, going back to our leader, he's working hard on Ron Hacker, and he's moving his way through the field. So far, he's lapped all the way up to 23rd position, working on 22nd. So these guys are moving through fairly quickly. He's kind of left Adam Blocker in the dust, though. Adam Blocker's got 2 cars in between him and Chris Laney, so not much battle up front, but Chris Laney's got to work hard to get by these guys cleanly.
Lanini's fuel cell got to be about as empty as a syrup bottle after a pancake social. He's working here lap number 70 now. Yeah, I know a lot of them were under yellow, but still, it's got to be time pretty soon.
And not only that, but for tires as well. Going back to P2 here. Pierre Daigle is caught right on the back of Adam Blocker, and he's bringing in Michael Goodman and Justin Weaver, so we got a good battle here for that second position as they go through some lap traffic. These guys are probably begging for a yellow flag, knowing that A, they're going to go a lap down, and B, their tires probably aren't feeling so good at the moment.
Bluen doing a good job, and boy, it is tough when you're a back marker and you have to race a line that you haven't really practiced much. Look at Robert Bluen, keep the car up high. You know, that's harder than it seems, guys. Nice job, Robert. I can sympathize with your situation there.
Yeah, it is much harder because not only are you looking ahead, but you got to watch your mirrors because you know it's not just one car, and so you're just trying to do your thing. You don't want to slow down too much, but you don't want to hinder them. So he's definitely doing a good job with that.
Well, I guarantee you, Robert Bluen did not put in a lot of practice time in that racing line right now, so that's doing a great job up there. Hopefully the track's not too dirty. Right off the back of the EcoBoost machine, looking back. That's got to be the Moby Dickey car. Is that what I'm looking at back there? There it is. Yeah, that beautiful blue and white machine.
And meanwhile, Ron Hacker's still holding off the leader here at Chris Laney. Chris Laney's been around behind him for a while, and he hasn't been able to get around him, so he's stalled him out a little bit, which if you look in the back there, if you can see in the back, you can see, oh, here comes Laney. Leader's pitting under green. Adam Blocker's going by him.
And that's what Ron Hacker was thinking. He's the last car on the lead lap. Why am I fighting so hard? Well, because you got to pit pretty soon. I want to stay right here. So there it is. How many laps will Lanini fall?
And he's bringing in Pierre Daigle. So Pierre Daigle's staying on that leader's strategy as well. And we'll see he's still making his way down pit lane. So those guys went around one more lap. And a clean stop here so far for Chris Lanini. And Chris Lanini is on his way. So our leader's out back onto the track. Well, our previous leader. And he's going to head on out. But he has lost a lap. He clipped the wall coming out of the pit lane. And he's bent his front wing. Yeah, I mean, he just got on the power. I was watching him here. And he just got on the power and clipped the inside wall. He's good right here. But as he tries to make this corner, you're going to see him right here try to get on the gas. And boom. Hit the wall, and there goes his wing. So he's going to struggle a little bit now. He's going to have to wait till he pits again. He can't come in now, but they can replace that front wing. But he's definitely not in the best of shape.
We'll tell you who the new leader is in a minute, but right now I can report, though, even though hitting the wall, Lanini did get out ahead of Blocker. So he's leading that group that's on that other pit strategy. But who's out in front? Well, you know who it is if you've been watching the broadcast. It's Joe Canigan Flanagan. But he's in a mix right now. Look at that. There's a battle for the lead. Kinsella back there in that kind of gray-colored machine. Teal-colored. I don't know what color it is. As he goes underneath the lap car of Bluen. Boy, Robert Bluen seems to always be in the action.
Wow, these guys have really jumped in the blender and turned that thing on high. As we're going 3-4 wide down the front straightaway here. We got Andrew Kinsella, Joe Flanagan, all these guys battling really for the lead at the moment.
And here comes Ian Adams, and he's got fresh rubber. So he's going to be fast too. He's not on the lead lap. He's racing in 17th as he goes under Kinsella.
Yeah, he had a problem earlier, got in a wreck, so he's 2 laps down. So if he can get around Joe Flanagan, he can get one lap back. But here comes, I think that's Big Joe Hasser. Is that Big Joe going underneath? Yeah, Big Joe getting underneath those guys, doing his thing as well. He's 2 laps down as well. So these guys are fighting to get that lap back. And if we get a yellow, it's going to work out for them.
Bob Mikas as well. The car pulling off. That's Joe Flanagan, our leader. It's pit stop time.
Joe Flanagan coming back in. We'll see what Andrew does. He's now the leader. See if he stays out or not. These guys have, I don't know what their fuel level is with the yellow flags, but right now he is the leader of the race. Got Brian Yazik coming in as well. Andrew's going to stay out. He's probably hoping for a yellow.
Yeah, they didn't get the yellow. Boy, right now, we can go to Kinsella. There's Yazik. We can go to Kinsella. He's our leader. But he's got a pinata full of bees in front of him. First of all, he's got Ian Adams. Adams might be faster. Now, remember, Kinsella is on the same strategy as Flanagan and Yazik, who came in. I almost wonder if they didn't come in because they saw all the nonsense going on in front of them. Kinsella can do nothing with Adams.
Here comes Joe Flanagan. So Flanagan lost a lap to Andrew. If he can stay in front of him, he's going to keep that lap. But Ian Adams is fighting everything he can, because if he can get a yellow, he can make this lap up on.
Yazik's in the wall. Coming out of pit lane. It's the cold tires. You know, it's the Goldilocks syndrome. These tires are too cold. These tires are too old. These tires are just right. Well, right now, here's what happened when you got cold tires. Boom.
Yeah, trying to get on the gas. Just the same thing we saw with our previous leader there is Chris Lanini.
The Racing Kangaroo, Michael Gray is in. But meanwhile, have a catch. Andrew Kinsella still out there racing in the lead. I thought that these guys could go longer. Flanagan and Yazik, they came in early.
Yeah, Andrew's playing a smart route here. He cleared that traffic, and now he's got a healthy 5-second lead over second place James Krahula. I mean, he's got to pit eventually, but man, right now I'm looking at 5 cars on the lead lap. So if Andrew Kinsella gets a yellow, he is definitely going to be in the leader's chair for a while. So great strategy going on. We'll see how it plays out, though.
And what you're looking at there, that is Chris Lanini and James Krahula. Now, Lanini is going to be our leader. There comes Kinsella in. Remember, we talked about Lanini having issues. He's still ahead of Blocker. But can we look at this battle? This is a good one here for 6th. The car up ahead is your leader, James Krahula, for what it's worth. But look at the pass going underneath. That's a pass for the lead. Adams goes underneath, and there's a caution from the Racing Kangaroo. Michael Gray spins right in front of Michael Goodman. The two Michaels get together. Oh, sweet sassy molasses.
And as that caution comes out, Andrew Kinsella is just coming out of the pits, so he's able to get his pit stop done. He almost loses it coming out of the pits, but here's the replay. And, he's like a top down that back straightaway. Everybody clears him, except for one.
Looking on the replay there, a little bit of clip there from Goodman. It looked like the Moby Dickie's car making the move to get around those guys. Let's see if I identified it right. I had to do it by the colors, which is always an issue. Yeah, let's see this one. There it is.
You can see he just clips the inside yellow line and spins him around. And fortunately, Justin Weaver's already on the inside and be able to clear that. So we'll see how this clears out. I don't know how it's all going to sort out with all these pit stops.
That was right in the middle of the cycle. Kinsella had just come in. Now, Joe Branch, Krahula, remember Krahula? We talked about him staying out there. I think this is going to play into his favor. There might only be a handful of cars on the lead lap. I think Krahula was the leader because Kinsella came in. I think Krahula was able to pit and stay out in front. This is going to get ugly here for some of these guys.
Yeah, I'm only showing like 9 cars on the lead lap at the moment.
And Lewin is coming in from second. He had yet to make his stop. Yeah. Right, we're going to stay here. Branch is going to stay out. He's going to cycle around behind Krahula. Right, Branch has made his stop. He's going to stay out and be in second. Krahula's going to be your leader. Bolster is pinned behind Krahula in 13th. That means only 12 cars on the lead lap. Just by my math, if Bolster is 13th and he's right behind the leader. Woo, doggy.
Yeah, right now I'm showing, I think it's Joe Flanagan is the last car in the lead lap in 14th position. We'll see if that updates as we cross the finish line here, but yeah, he'll be 12th. Dan Guerin has done a great job. He's still in 13th, 11th, 13th, right around there. We'll see how it updates, but he's moved his way back up. Yep, 12th was Joe Flanagan. So looks like he's still the last car in the lead lap. Wow, that really mixed things up here, Soup.
It definitely did. Guerin is going to be in 11th, just ahead of Flanagan. Remember, Guerin is your pole sitter. He had that basically when it went green, he spun the car on the very first lap. He's done a good job of making up for that mistake. Now ahead of Guerin is Bob the Meat Man Mikas. I'm going to check here. Mikas has been out there for 18 laps. Ahead of him, Joe Hassard. Hassard's been out there for 18 laps. But then we get to a guy who snuck in the pit stop right before. That's Andrew Kinsella.
Yeah, he got lucky. He was in the pit lane
right
when that happened. But one thing I do notice is our previous leader, Chris Lanini, has been caught. It looks like he's been caught a lap down.
Now wait a minute. I'm hearing the wave arounds. I thought Krahula was right behind the pace car. Well, he's still behind the pace car. Okay, I must have been my mistake.
Well, yeah, Chris Lanini, who was our earlier leader, he's a lap down. His first car a lap down, so he definitely got caught out by that yellow flag.
So let's take it from the front. This is probably a better way to do it. All right, here we go. All you little guys in Soup's clipboard army, get them out. There are more pit stops happening. And these are Tutwiler and Yazik. These guys were all a lap down. Dupree, they're topping off. So we have another one. They're a lap down, so they're really not going to be in the mix. All right, so I'm going to try this now. James Krahula is your leader, and he's on more recent time, so he's in really good shape. In the same position as Joe Branch and Tyler Graff. Now, they may not have the pace, but right now they're in really good position. How about Robert Bluen? Is this true? Robert Bluen, who we've seen getting out of the way so much, he's sitting in 4th right now. Hey, Bobby, nice job. Then we get back to, I apologize to the guys in front, but Adam Blocker, Daigle back there, these guys who have pace. All right, it's time to go racing for real. Some of these guys are on different strategies. Right now, it's James Krahula out there in that bright fluorescent JMK Supply Special.
Yeah, the guys that are looking real good is Krahula, Branch, and Bluen, and also Kinsella. They're only about a handful of laps from their last pit stop, so they can go a long distance before they have to pit again.
Ian Adams, who we saw was fast. That's the car right back there looking to the inside. He's a lap down, as is the fluorescent blue machine of Chris Lanini. Oh, poor Chris.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Adam Blocker, he was not unfortunate for Adam, but he pitted, and now he's sitting in 4th position. Yep. He was running right with Lanini earlier, and just bad timing. So Chris has got some work to do to get that lap back.
Adam Blocker has really positioned himself. You look at him there in a good spot. His car is fast. The only problem is he's on a 26-lap stint. He's not in the same position as these other guys. Blocker and Daigle will need to be coming in before the guys they're racing. They got to figure a yellow flag is going to come. There's no way we're going to get in another green flag stop is what these guys are thinking.
This battle with Tyler Graff, even though he's in 3rd, he's got basically Ian Adams and Chris Lanini, who were running up front earlier, but they're a lap down. But they want to get up there and try to get this lap back, so they're not giving Tyler Graff any kind of breaks. Tyler Graff on the other side is not letting them by either. So this is a good battle here, even though it's not really for position.
Right on board of Graff, looking back at the 2 cars that are trying to get around him. Long live love. Well, that's something I can get down with.
Right now, the key thing is not just this, but Chris Lanini definitely needs to get by Ian Adams. He needs to be that first car lap down so that if we do get the wave around or something happens, that he's going to come around in first or ahead of this. But Ian Adams has muscled his way past Chris. So this is definitely, even though it's not really for a position, it's something to look at for the long-term runs.
Okay, my spidey senses are tingling. Let's go back to 7th. This is the Moby Dickey car of Justin Weaver, George Anzaldo. I guess really it starts back there with Anzaldo. This battle for 15th, 16th, and 17th. These guys are a lap down. Matthew Mercer working on the top side. Scott Bolster back there too. Careful, boys. These guys are a lap down. Only reason we're watching this, it's good racing, first of all. But I just got a hunch something's going to break out here. Going down low, that's Greg West. But look at the run from Anzaldo up top.
Yeah, these guys are all mixed up in different positions, so they're not all 100% racing for the position that they're running, but they're racing for a position on the track. And, yeah, I think you're right. Something's going to happen here, I think, fairly quick.
Because right behind is a battle. That's Bob Micas. You see that car dipping to the inside on that onboard camera? Bob Micas, he's in 9th. He's coming up on traffic, but he's got guys following him. Flanagan is back there. Lewin is in 11th, and then Guerin is in that mix as well.
Yeah, Dan Guerin's our last car in the lead lap, so he's fighting to stay right there.
Not missing anything up front. Rahula, Branch, and Graff race comfortably.
Yeah, we've got a lot of green flag runs here too, which is good to see. I didn't think we'd get that many, but this has definitely mixed up the field with the way the yellow flags fall. And it's not going to finish the way we're looking at it right now, I don't think, with the way the pit stops are going to happen.
There's Blocker in 4th. Did Blocker just get around Kinsella? No, Kinsella's coming too. These guys are on a run. But remember, Blocker will need to pit soon.
Yeah, and right in front of him is that battle we were talking about earlier. We got Tyler Graff in 3rd. He's holding off the 2 cars of Lanini and Adams, who are a lap down, but were our leaders earlier. So, he's doing a good job holding them up, and that's bringing Adam Blocker and Andrew Kinsella right up to this group.
Continue to look at that battle for 3rd. Now, those 2 guys, there goes Lanini underneath, trying to be the car leading 1 lap down. There's no lucky dog. And as that continues, we gotta go back. There's Graff. We gotta go back to 9th position again, back here with Bob Micas. Because there's 2 different agendas going on up here. We got George Anzaldo, Micas. Now they're separated by different laps. There's Flanagan. Flanagan is in 9th, racing with Micas in that yellow car. Is Flanagan. Micas trying to go underneath Anzaldo.
Yeah, we got also Matthew Mercer involved in that group as well, and he's not fighting for track position with these guys, but he's right there. This is a big beehive of cars. If we get through this without a yellow flag, I'll be very surprised.
On the inside, about in 3 back, that's Dan Guerin, your pole sitter, racing in 10th.
Yeah, Dan Guerin's doing a good job. Like I say, he started on the pole and obviously had a little mishap on the start. He's had to be really aggressive. I think that's the way he had to go. And he's just kind of just hanging in there. He just really needs another yellow flag so that they can pit on the same cycle as everybody and they can get back to running to the front.
Right on board with Guerin. You see that car way at the top? That's Micas. He's cleared these guys. He's out there cooking with hot fish grease right now. There goes Flanagan trying to get underneath Anzaldo. The yellow car of Flanagan, Anzaldo on the top side in the red machine. Again, they're not racing for position. Flanagan finally gets it done. Can he close the door? He's scared to close the door. Now he gets it.
Yeah, and now Jordan Zotto is getting kind of put out up to the top here, getting kind of bullied a little bit. He's got Matthew Mercer, who's not really racing. Well, they are racing for a position, so racing for 17th and 18th position. It's so hard to keep track of it because right behind them we have Dan Guerin, who is actually in 11th position racing with these guys as well.
Garrett has the pace to stay with Flanagan and Micas, but Flanagan and Micas have cleared the traffic.
Meanwhile, up front, our two leaders who are the two drivers tied for the points lead are now right by each other. So Andrew Kinsella has gotten by Adam Blocker, and he's gotten by Tyler Graff. So move Andrew Kinsella up to third spot, starting in 24th position. Great job by him.
And little by little, Branch is trying to run down Krahula. There he is, Joe Branch in second.
Yeah, they got Ron Hacker in between them, so he does have a lap car, but they're doing a good job. They're all on the same strategy, though. So Krahula, Branch, Kinsella, Bluin, and Ian Adams are all basically about the same strategy. Everybody else is quite a bit pitted quite a bit earlier. So Big Joe, Bob Micas, those guys are working 51 laps since the last pit stop.
Let's stay on our leader for a minute, because remember all that stuff we were talking about, those guys who were racing? Well, he's about to get a taste of it himself, coming up on the back of Bluin. Now, Krahula's got to remember to stay fast enough to stay ahead of, well, where did he go? The driver in second. There's Joe Branch. There's the yellow car dipping underneath.
Yeah, Robin Bluin's, he's doing a good job trying to stay out of the way. He doesn't want to lose too much momentum, so you don't want to just get off the gas and let them all go, because then you're just completely out of whack. But he's definitely giving them the low line. It's up to James Krahula to be able to carry that line. He's bringing a couple cars with him, which I think one of them is Samuel Reinman and Ron Hacker. And Joe Branch has fallen off a little bit from this group.
Boy, that just goes to show you how hard it is. Robert Bluin is trying his best to get out of the way, racing a high line. Finally, Krahula gets the pass made. Bluin now goes one lap down. That means there's only 11 cars on the lead lap. Oh, my, but Krahula almost gets loose as he gets into the dirty air behind Michael Goodman and George Anzaldo. If you watched our countdown to green, you know all about the Bernoulli effect, and it almost got him.
Yeah, he's struggling, definitely. I mean, they're a little bit into the stint. Definitely a couple of guys are going to have to pit very, very soon, but your tires are going off, and he may not want that low line, but that's all that's given to him at the moment.
We ride off the back of Goodman, who has George Anzaldo to the top side. There you see they are too wide. Watching the whole thing is our leader, James Krahula.
And they got really close at the exit of that corner, too.
And these guys are not fighting to stay on the lead lap. These guys are fighting to stay one lap down. Boy, Krahula trying his best to get around him. We go to fifth position. Blocker, Degla.
Yeah, these guys are working lap 61, 62 of their last stop, so they're going to have to come in soon. You know, we've done a lot of green flag racing, and this is definitely going to change it up, as like Krahula, Kinsella, and Branch all have about 20 laps on them as far as how long they can hang out. Here goes Daigle right on the outside. He's looking on the outside. You also got Justin Weaver in the Moby Dickey's car. He's looking on the inside, and let's see if he can get that. Not quite. I think their tires are gone. They don't quite have the grip that they need to make these passes.
They're on a 63-lap stint. They should be due anytime. Here comes Moby Dickey going underneath. Justin Weaver can't get it done.
Now you can see how that low line is the fastest way around, but not with old tires. You just can't get back on the power. And Adam Blocker's doing a good job just running his line, keeping those guys in the dirty air. But like I say, we're going to see these guys pit fairly soon.
Pitting this lap from Pierre Neidendegla. I would imagine that Blocker might want to be coming in too, and Weaver. Weaver steps to the outside. He heard it, gives Degla plenty of room. As there goes Pierre into pit lane.
Yeah, Pierre's into the pit lane. He's the first one of those trio to pit. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see those other guys come in the next lap or two.
Daigle saying, please don't go yellow now. Meanwhile, Krahula, we go back to that one. He's still got George Anzaldo in front of him. Going to try to the outside. Anzaldo does a little bit of a lift, I think. Not going to help him out. Nope.
Pierre Daigle on his way back out. He's going to... Oh, he lost it. He lost it in the same spot. Crashed the car. There we go. Right out there. I was watching him. And he brought out a caution. It's the same problem we've had with a couple of these guys. He's got some heavy damage, so he's going to have to come back in. But this definitely is going to be a lifesaver to people like Blocker and Guerin, all these guys who are getting right near the end of that stint.
Well, I told you that Daigle didn't want the yellow. Well, if you don't want the yellow, don't put your car in the wall out of pit lane. Ouch.
Yeah, I jumped on board just at the last minute just to see if that would happen, and you obviously can see it. Cold tires are very, very tricky.
I'll tell you, the guys who are saying, thank you very much, Pierre, are those guys he was racing with. Justin Weaver up there, he needed a pit stop badly. Weaver up there, and Blocker needed with Micus. These guys all need to come in. Couldn't have come at a better time for them. In fact, I think everyone's going to have to come in because they're so far down. Yeah, sure. Krahula has to come in too. So this is going to wipe the slate clean, put everyone pretty much back on the same strategy.
Yeah, I mean, you'd be dumb to stay out there right now because the way it's been going, we've been getting some long runs. And so, yeah, you just want to come in, keep yourself on the lead group, and basically reset it here. Andrew Kinsella's done a great job getting in second place and holding on to that second place. His closest competitor in the points, Adam Blocker, who he's tied with, his teammate, is down in ninth at the moment.
All right, what we're going to do right now is take a short break. Don't go far. We'll be back before we go green. You're on the iRacing Esports Network. This is the Global Sim Racing Channel's coverage of the Lionheart IndyCar Series Butt Kicker 200 from Richmond, round 15 of a 24-event season. All right, here's what's up. Your top 9 drivers as the pace car pulls in are all on the same pit strategy. James Krahula leads them down into the first corner. Joe Branch is in second. Andrew Kinsella, Tyler Graff, Justin Weaver, Bob Mikas, Dan Guerin, and Dan Guerin are 7th. Joe Hazard is 8th. They're all fine. There are 2 drivers that are hoping for rivers in China, ribbons around old oak trees, and roses in Texas. Chris Lanini and Scott Bolster need something yellow. They are out there racing right now on the lead lap in 9th and 10th, but they've been out there for 58 laps.
Yeah, that was the only way he's going to get his lap back, by not pitting, but he needs a quick yellow in order to get that back. Otherwise, he's going to pit under green, going to lose all that. Some of these guys, there's a reason why Andrew Kinsella is tied for the points. He's battled his way from 24th up to 3rd at the moment by able to call that strategy just right and stay out of the trouble. Meanwhile, his closest competitor, Adam Blocker, in the points is back there in 9th, who was running up front. So this has definitely become very interesting as we're working lap 157 of a 267.
Oh, man, it's hard to make a pass. We were watching it there. The Moby Dickey's machine of Justin Weaver tried to get underneath Tyler Groff, couldn't do it.
And they got Bob Mikas right there behind him, and he's got Ian Adams, who was up front.
I'm telling you.
He hits him. He hits Bob Mikas, and this is going to be the yellow that they're hoping for.
Oh, trying Cousin Dupree. Isaiah got him going by. I'll tell you right now, Ian Adams is one of the fastest cars out here, but he's a lap down. He gets together with the meat machine. And then Isaiah Dupree.
Yeah, Isaiah. It looks like Bob actually kind of drifted up into the side of Ian Adams, and then Isaiah Dupree unfortunately has nowhere to go here. That car's pirouetting in the middle of the track. He's going to go left, go right, and just nothing.
Well, so I'll tell you who's happy with that one, and that is Chris Lanini and Scott Bolster. Remember, they needed that quickie yellow? Well, thanks to Ian Adams and Bob Mikas, they get one.
Yeah, that was to me. It just looked like Bob just kind of drifted up a little bit, and Ian Adams is working his way through the field, and that's just unfortunate, though.
Adams's car has been really quick. In fact, he's still out there racing. That car has been really fast. If he can get back on the lead lap, watch out. So that puts now 10 cars on the lead lap. James Krahula leads the train. And Scott Bolster, who it seems like I've seen Scott get lapped 9 or 10 times this race, sitting in 10th. Way to go, Scott.
Yeah, sometimes it just falls the way it works for you. And it looks like Scott is pitted. He's coming out of the pits now, so he will be on the decent cycle with the leaders and running in 10th. Started 31st, running 10th. Also got to give a shout out to James Krahula. Then started 32nd up to 1st. Can't do much better than that.
All right, a few drivers have come in here to top off and stay on the lead lap. Graf, Blocker, Lanini, Bolster. So those guys are going to be able to go, another maybe 8 or 9 laps farther than the rest of these guys.
Yeah, all the guys in front of them are all working laps 11, 12, and 13 off their last pit stop. These yellow flags will help. But, cautions breed caution, so hopefully we can get them settled down and get back to racing.
Now it gives us a chance to talk about one of our sponsors here, and I want to talk about the guys at Turf Monkey Lawn Care. It's veteran owned and operated by Marty Davis out of Lansing, Wisconsin. Turf Monkey has a barrel full of specialties, including fertilization, weed control, aeration, dethatching, overseeding, snow removal, and mowing. Don't monkey around with your yard this season. Make it look bananas. Turf Monkey Lawn Care. Check them out on Facebook at facebook.com/turfmonkey. All right, 2 sponsors down, 1 to go.
So we got a little more than 100 laps left. So if we can get going green, this should go by pretty quickly. I'm looking at the elapsed time, though. There's only an hour left on their elapsed time. So if we get a bunch of yellows, that might come into play here.
There you can see the pace car working around. As we work, lap number 163. It's a little late to show you our race analysis, but I'll just tell you that we did have a race analysis, and it was sponsored by the good folks at Lock Precision. Fly hard, fly safe, fly lock. The pace car is in. James Krahula right now says fly hard, fly safe. Fly me into the first corner. James Krahula leads the Stampede down. Hey, there's a pass for second. There goes Andrew Kinsella underneath Joe Branch. He's going to bring with him Moby Dicky of Justin Weaver. Branch stuck on the top side, dropping like a pigeon. There's the fast car of Ian Adams. He's a lap down.
Yeah, Ian Adams is a lap down, but he's been in that mix, and he's fighting hard to get through. He basically just chopped off Joe Branch, it looked like. And, Ian's racing like he is in that position. He's been fast. I think he deserves to be in that position, but he's not right now because he's 11th position, a lap down.
He's going to need to do it the old-fashioned way. Earn it. There is no lucky dog here in the Lionheart IndyCar Series. Krahula comes around, and he leads them now through lap 167. That means there's 100 to go.
We got a big battle here with Dan Guerin in 5th spot. He's got Big Joe right behind him. Dan's done a good job. I know he's had to work hard to get back up to that position. So he's on the same pace or pit stop strategy as the leaders, running in 5th spot. So I'm sure he's a little bit relieved, but he's got a little bit more work to do if he wants to get back to the front.
I know you can't win the Hard Charger Award when you start from the pole. My goodness, he deserves it. As he continues, we ride on board, looking ahead at Joe Branch. Branch started second. When we went green, he fell backwards.
Got another strong battle here with 8th position with Adam Blocker, Tyler Graff. Chris Leaney has got himself back on the lead lap, and he is right back behind Adam Blocker, and he's running, watching him run. He's wants to get that position. He's not just hanging around.
Seems like another race when it was Blocker and Leaney racing up 1-2. They've got themselves in position where they can still win this thing. Leaney in that fluorescent blue machine going underneath the car of Robert Bluen.
Yeah, and even though Robert Bluen, we seem to see him a lot, just kind of staying out of the way of leaders, he's done a great job. He's up into 14th position. He's only a lap down. And he's just kind of running his own race and just letting the yellows work for him a little bit.
Let's look at 7th position. There you can see the blue car of Blocker trying to get underneath. Boy, it failed. That's Tyler Groff.
Yeah, it's so hard to make that run off of turn 2 when you get down to the bottom. Unfortunately, it tightens up so much you just can't put the power down because the track flattens out. So Tyler Groff, you can see him pinch him down at the exit, keeping him from getting on the power. So probably the best passing zone is going into 3, trying to run that high line and just carry that momentum and then just get position on him going into 1.
Not missing anything up front. They race several car lengths apart. You're looking at the best battle right now. That's Leaney.
Yeah, and he's fought hard to get back to that position. So, he's got a run on Adam Blocker right here. He's got the inside line. Looks like he's going to get it. Just there comes Adam. No, like I say, you can't get quite the power down, and that outside lane carries the momentum. Sometimes it takes 2 or 3, 4 laps just to make one pass.
Boy, and he had a giant run on Blocker. I had inked it in on my clipboard that he had moved up into 8th position, but that's not going to happen. And that's Groff up ahead. Kinsella is in the wall. Can we get a replay of this one? He's okay. He's still racing out of 4. Andrew Kinsella. This car just pushes and pushes and pushes. Here we go. Watch this one.
He's trying to keep it going, and he just clips the wall, and Looks like he a little bit of damage to the front, but no harm, no foul. He kind of hit the wall square, so it's a little bit of a wake-up call with depending on how his tires are handling. He's got Justin Weaver, though, right behind him now. And Justin's in that Moby Dickey's car is going to look to try to take that second spot from him.
Yeah, Weaver going to go fishing right now. Kinsella doing his best to hang on to that one. Oh, here comes the run. Weaver with a great run out of 4. I think have a catch. I think he's struggling.
Yeah, I think the damage is done more on the front wing than we thought. So, Andrew's pretty smart. He's probably realizing, it's not, we got a long ways to go. Just let him go. And we'll fight another day as we get another pit stop.
They got fish and chips at Moby Dickey's. I found that out. So all you watching at that bar and grill, how you doing? Justin Weaver, your boy, second place.
Yeah, and the best next battle, if we want to go back to Adam Blocker here in 8th position, he's got Chris Lanini still all over the back of him. Tyler Groff is right in front of them, and then right behind them is Scott Bolster, and so it's basically a 4-car battle for that 7th position. Ryan Yazik is back there, but he's a couple laps down, so he's not in the fight. But this battle's been going on since we went green last.
And there goes Lanini underneath, not going to get it done. Boy, these guys have been back here for a long time. They need to open a medical practice because they got a lot of patience, let me tell you. And now he's given up on a Blocker. Nope, he's going to have to wait.
The problem Blocker has is he's trying to get around Groff, but he's got Chris Lanini all over the back of him too, so he's going to have to watch both mirrors and then also watch forward. And Groff has done a great job. He's been up there for a while, and he's made it very difficult for anybody to get by him. He's running the whole width of the track, from the outside to the inside, back to the outside. He's not giving any lanes.
Best run, finally Lanini now. Does he want to do the slide job? He's up. You got it, Chris. You're clear. He doesn't believe the commentator, but I think he's got it now. Let's see if he closes the door on Blocker now. He does, but he gets out of the way. Woo.
He had it cleared, but he wasn't sure. He gave it out of the way. But I think he's got the pass done now. He's definitely clear at this point. So it took about 10 laps to get by Adam Blocker, but he finally got it done. If he can get by Tyler, I think he can kind of pull away from this group.
And watching the whole thing, still on the lead lap in 10th, Scott Bolster. Bless your heart, Scott.
I'm sure Adam Blocker's wondering, okay, what happened here? I was running second. Andrew started 24th, looking good, and now all of a sudden I'm stuck back here in basically 9th, and now Andrew's up into 3rd. I don't know what happened.
Nothing
Here we go, Chris
on
Lanini.
up front. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, Chris Lanini trying to really hard to get right. Tyler Groff. Groff has been holding this bottle back with this cork for a long time, but I think Chris Lanini's got the momentum. Looks like he's going to really try to make a move, but he's going to watch out for Adam Blocker coming up behind him too.
While we're looking at this, we can stay on here. I can tell you that Kinsella is losing ground in 3rd. It won't be long till Joe Branch is going to get him for that final podium spot. Joe's coming. Andrew's got that sick car.
Yeah, I think that damage did more than we thought it did because he's really fallen off. His last lap times are not so hot. So Joe is catching up. But right behind Andrew, if you look, there's that black and yellow car and white car of Ian Adams still begging to get that lap back because he's got a fast car.
Ian Adams racing really 4th in line behind the front 3 guys. And then don't forget, in 5th, there's Ian Adams at 11th. In 5th is Dan Guerin, and Darren Guerin now is closing on Branch. And I think Guerin is going to get to Branch before Branch gets to Kinsella. Let's go up to P1.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Here we go. Justin Weaver's closed that gap. I don't know if lap traffic had anything to do with it, but just James Carula is in his whole lot of trouble here trying to hold on to that lead. I mean, James did qualify 32nd, so he wasn't the fastest in qualifying, but he's done a great job leading so far. But Justin Weaver's got a fast car.
That was George Anzaldo that they got around. George racing in 20th.
And these guys up front, James, Justin, and Andrew, are all working about 50 laps since their last stint. So their tires are getting worn. Pit stops are in their future. Chris Lanini's looking pretty good, though. He's only done 38 laps, so it's kind of flip-flopped here. And so if we keep going green, this is going to be in favor of Chris Lanini.
Well, we're racing lap number 199 right now. It'll be 200 soon. This race is scheduled for 267. If these guys can go another 7 or 8 laps, they're good to go from here. And I think everyone should be able to get there.
Yeah, well, we'll see if we can do that. It'd be nice if we can just go green the whole way and just play it straight up. I think that lap traffic had a little bit to do with Justin Weaver catching James, because James has basically separated himself. They got another lap traffic in front of him. Is that Robert Bluen again?
That is Robert Bluen.
Yep, and like I say, Robert's done a great job. You know, we see him on the outside, and he is running 16, so he's not, just squandering a good finish. He started 25th, running 16th, so he's doing a good job, but the lap cars come around really quick here.
Boy, but Krahula cannot get it done, and what this does, Krahula loses all of his lap time. He's losing all this momentum. This opens the door for Weaver if he wants to force the issue.
Yeah, same thing we saw earlier. So lap traffic is really not much of a favor. Obviously, James does not like that dirty air, like we talked about, and Justin Weaver does not have a problem with it. So now we've got a battle for the lead again.
Yeah, it's a lot easier for Weaver to catch up to him and go by the lap traffic as Krahula opens the door. Then Krahula runs away from it until he runs up on the back of somebody else. Weaver gets back up there and says, "I'll follow you through again." Next up for these guys are Ron Hacker. Haven't talked much about Ron Hacker. He actually leads the Ironman Award. If I read my pre-race information correctly, he's gone the most miles of anybody.
Meanwhile, Adam Blocker is now the last car in the lead lap, so he's struggling a little bit with this traffic. I'm surprised, actually. He's going by Tyler Graff. Ooh, that is close. Oh, that was so close. We almost got the yellow we were looking for, but basically, I didn't see the damage earlier on his wing, so I don't know if he got that with trying to get by Graff, so maybe that explains why he's been faded. Oh.
And it looked like it might have been an iRacing glitch as it pops back into place. Now he tries around the top side. That's not going to work.
Tries to do the over under. And you can see how he loses. Yeah, you can see how he loses that momentum off the corner. He looked like he had the pass done, and he just can't quite hold that bottom lane. Tyler's got a big group of cars behind him.
My dad used to say he's working both sides of the street like a jaywalking mailman. Actually, Dad, I really can't tell you the profession that my dad said that the guy was walking, but it was a female. But we're on the iRacing Esports Network, and I want to stay on the iRacing Esports Network, so we will continue to call it a mailman.
Yeah, Dan Guerin's got right up on the back of Joe Branch, who has got right on the back of Ian Adams, who is now trying to go by Andrew Kinsella. Oh no!
Now the catch has caught the wall.
And he is not going to be happy about that, because that was not fourth position at all.
You know, there's a lot of guys that are not going to get a Christmas card to Ian Adams. Adam, he was involved in it with Bob Mikas, and now Andrew Kinsella.
Yeah, that's a real unfortunate thing. I mean, Andrew's running for the championship.
Yep.
And Ian was not in position. Ian should have been just maybe a little bit more patient. And, just moved up and hit him. Well, they're all coming into the pit lane. Andrew's coming into the pit lane. He's going to be able to get the front wing fixed, but it's going to be there for a little bit.
Well,
Yeah. It looks like Andrews actually exited the car at the moment, so he is definitely not happy about that one.
that was the stop everyone needed.
So Justin Weaver is out and about right behind James Krahula. And
Lanini misses a stop.
Yep, so Lanini misses a stall. He'll be all right. I mean, there's only 10 cars on the lead lap, so he'll lose a position or two, but nothing terrible.
But I don't think, now I could be wrong, I don't think they cycled the lap cars around yet, so it's going to be Krahula. Well, maybe all these, okay, maybe because they don't pit the lap cars on the first time around, that'll open it up for these guys.
And I do
That's
want to
one way
point,
to clear the cars, yeah.
one thing I want to point out is just look who's in third spot now.
And that would be, oh, there he is, Dan Guerin. Started on the pole, spun it at the beginning of the race, and I mean the beginning of the race. Went all the way back to last. It's taken him 214 laps, but he's worked his way back up to the front.
Yep. So we'll see if he can keep that streak alive here in this race and just run a very clean finish. He really needs a good run here.
Gotta be the favorite right now. Branch, Blocker, and Lanini are the guys that have the speed. But Richie, I don't know if you really need speed. It's I think Krahula out in front might be hard for that to change.
Yeah, I agree. Adam Blocker and Chris Lanini are very fast, but they're right behind Tyler Groff, who's shown he's very difficult to get by. And that's going to give Krahula, Weaver, and Guerin a chance to kind of pull away. I mean, we could easily go green the rest of the way here. We've seen some good long runs.
Okay, fans, it's trying to play a little bit of Richie Hearn trivia. Now, of course, Richie was a real-world IndyCar driver and actually did race at this track a few times. In 2002, Richie actually finished 7th. Now, he finished behind 4 Brazilians. So we're going to ask you, the fans, and you, Richie Hearn, if you know, can you name the 2 American drivers you finished behind in 2002? Impossible. You'll never get this.
I don't know.
At least take a guess. Pull one American driver out from 2002. You might have finished behind.
I don't even know who was running back then. You got to give me a few minutes.
Okay, that's great. There'll be another yellow. All you people at home start typing it in there into the text there, and you can play a little. Richie Hearn, it's your life. We have actually brought those people in here to talk to you tonight. That's not true.
You know, that's like 16 years ago.
The lights are off. The pace car is in. Richie's scratching his head.
Oh, Tyler Groff spins it off the green flag.
Oh, and we have a caution.
No accident, but it's definitely going to clear out a spot for Chris Lanini and Adam Blocker, like we just talked about.
That was a little quickie going under green there. We're right on board with Graff as he does a very pretty pirouette.
Cold tires once again, and just there he goes.
All right, I'm going to give you a clue to the trivia question so I can get done with it because it's like a song sticking in my head now. I'll give you one of the drivers. Well, I'll just give it to you. It's Sam Hornish there. The other one is from a historic racing family.
I'm looking it up right now.
Oh, God! Jeez. Little Al. There you go. So, 7th place, though, at Richmond.
Yeah, I like that place. It's a little intimidating when you first go there because it's so fast, but it was actually like driving on a big go-kart track. It was really fun. I liked it better than racing at some of the other ovals we raced at. If you had a bad car, it was a nightmare. But if you had a good car, I mean, you could really hustle that thing and just make moves, and that's really what you want.
Is there a smaller track? Are there shorter lap times than what we get here at Richmond? I can't really think of anywhere that Indy cars have really gone.
Probably the only place I could think of. I mean, I think I've never raced at Iowa, but I think their lap times are pretty quick. But when we raced at raced at Nazareth, that was just under a mile, and that place was super fast. And so I don't know what the lap times were. I don't think they're that short, but it was fast enough that your pit board guy couldn't get the board back out fast enough for the next lap. So he had to give you like every 2 or 3 laps.
I gotta think that being in a car on a track like this, compared to Indy may be more scary and everything needs concentration, but I don't know if is there that chance to relax here on this kind of racetrack?
Oh no, there's no relaxing. You are just tense the whole time. I mean, at least at Indy, honestly, there's times when you're driving, you're just kind of in a zone. I've looked up and watched the timing board at the video board and see who's on the screen at the moment. So you have time to kind of, take a breath.
Right.
At tracks like this, no, it's nonstop. It's hot. It's humid. And so it takes a toll on you. Plus the downforce levels that we run at these tracks compared to those other ones, because we run the short oval package, it's just there's a lot of force going through that steering wheel, so it takes a lot of more physical effort than those bigger ovals. Do
you feel the effects of a race like if you were doing a lot of miles on the lateral G's the next day? Does it take a while to recover like a football player, or are you pretty good as soon as you get out of the car?
Probably you don't notice the G's so much, but your arms and your neck are tired. I mean, you're sore. You're probably more mentally drained than anything, but your forearms are tired for sure.
I remember watching a race. Willie T. Ribbs was retired. He got back into if the lights are off, we'll go green next time around. Got into an Indy Lights car and was going to race one race at Indy Lights. And Willie actually retired about halfway through. And they said, was there problems with the car? He said, no, I just got beat up. I couldn't go any farther. I guess there's a lot of stamina there for drivers.
Yeah, if you're not doing it all the time, you definitely notice it right away.
Love Willie T. Ribbs. Okay, the lights are off the pace car. Here's what's up. James Grahula, Justin Weaver, Dan Guerin, there's your front three. Everybody, we think, is good to go from here. There are 10 cars on the lead lap. James Grahula gets on the green.
And big move from Dan Guerin pulling underneath Justin Weaver, so move Dan Guerin up to second place. He's almost back to where he was, so great start. And he's on a mission here. He's usually has his bad luck at the end, but he had his bad luck at the beginning, so let's see if he can capitalize on it. I'm kind of rooting for him here.
Guerin now into second. Weavers, they head down in through 3 and 4 coming out. Crossing the start-finish line now. James Grahula working lap number 226.
If you want to look at who's in sixth place is Scott Bolster, who earlier was hanging on to that lead lap. He's in front of Adam Blocker and Chris Lanini. So he's done a great job. Started 31st up to 6th position. He's got a hungry Adam Blocker and Chris Lanini. Now, Adam Blocker's got his championship challengers out of the race, so he's got to kind of it might change his mindset a little bit of how aggressive he needs to be.
Blocker and Lanini with the pace to get there, if they can get there. Boy, I'll tell you, let's go up to second. I'll tell you who's working it, and this is Justin Weaver. If he can get around Guerin, I think he can make another stab at Grahula. It's just so hard to make a pass here. We're looking at Weaver in the blue and white Moby Sticky machine. He's right behind Guerin. Boy.
Yeah, Justin's been really aggressive but smart about his moves tonight. Started 12th, running 3rd, and he's been clean. And like I say, he's been aggressive, but he hasn't made any dumb moves. So he's just gonna keep the pressure on Dan. They got nobody in front of him, although James Grahula is not too far ahead. So Justin might be waiting for them to catch up to James before he makes a move on Dan.
Boy, you can almost see the vortices of air coming off the wing there that Professor Lugnut talked about in our countdown to green. Weaver gets right up there and just cannot find anywhere to put that car.
We're closing in on about 34 to go, 33 to go. So the laps are ticking off fairly quickly. pretty quiet up front, but I think we'll see a little bit more action as we get closer to the end. These guys are going to catch back up to the lap traffic in not too much time, so that's going to start playing a role in what we're going to do.
Boy, and I'll tell you, Lanini I hate to jump you around so much. Let's go to 7th. Lanini is trying every trick in the book to get around Blocker. He's trying it low. He's trying it high. He's diving it in deep. He's trying to get a good run off. He cannot do it.
We've seen all night that it's very tough to make a pass. It takes multiple laps of just working that guy over. And Chris has had a fast car tonight. We've seen that, but so does Adam. And but right in front of Adam, he's got Scott Bolsters kind of making that dirty air for him. And Chris Lanini along with Justin Weaver have been very aggressive but clean with their moves.
We're on board with Lanini. I guess he didn't put it in the wall from my view up here in the press box. He put it awfully close. It's all about track position right now. Whether you're battling for the lead, Krahula holding off Guerin and Weaver, or if you're Blocker trying to hold back a hungry Chris Lanini.
It's all nose to tail at the moment up front. Nothing's happening, but I was just on board with James Krahula, and I can see those lap cars starting to creep into his picture. It's going to be a little bit, but that's going to come into play as we get closer to the end.
James Krahula, our hard charger, obviously, from 31st position.
And he did put a qualifying time in this time, Sue.
Yes, he did. A couple guys that we haven't talked about, let's go ahead and give them a little love. Where's Brian Beard right now? Brian Beard should be about in 12th position. Yeah, him and Greg West, they race in 12th and 13th. They're both up several positions. Beard started 35th up to 12th. Greg West, 33rd up to 13th. Nice job, guys. You haven't got a lot of screen time, but a good job from both of you.
Also, we haven't called this name Michael Goodman.
Nope.
He's got himself back on the lead lap, I noticed. So he started 10th. He's back in 10th. He's been kind of quiet, but that's a good job because there's only 10 cars on the lead lap. So he's got himself a good spot in case something happens in front of him.
Well, he's working right now on Tyler Groff. Every time we look at Tyler Groff, it seems like somebody's trying to pass him and not doing it. That battle for 9th. 24 laps to go. We're going to be done here in a hurry.
James Krahula's in lap traffic now. He's kind of gapped Dan Guerin a little bit, but he's going around lap traffic. So now Dan's got to work that lap traffic, and he's kind of gapped Justin Weaver as well. So those three guys are separated out fairly evenly by about 0.7 of a second.
And there's Goodman, finally makes the pass on Tyler Groff. Goodman now up to 9th. And he's got about 5 seconds to get to Chris Lanini. That's going to be a tall ask. Lanini continues to race behind Blocker.
Yeah, Adam's done a good job holding up Lanini. I think Lanini has a little bit faster car, but just can't quite seem to make that move complete. And Scott Bolster's done a great job too. Once again, started 31st and 6th. He's holding off Adam Blocker. He's kind of gapped him a little bit, so he's done a good job. He's got Big Joe right in front of him coming up with a lap car in between them.
20 to go, and now 19 to go. So in honor of my old partner, Soup and Crackers, Sean Crackers Ambrose, get out that boogie shoes and turn the mirrored ball is spinning. Sean does it a lot better than I do. Basically, it's time to boogie. Oh, that was awful. Sorry, Sean, if you're watching. And we get closer to the end now. We're going to make our focus mainly on the leaders. James Krahula up by a second on Dan Guerin. Richie, I think you're right. I think only lap traffic, that's the only thing that's going to help these guys make a pass.
Yeah, these guys are all separated out by quite a bit. If we go back a little bit, though, that battle with Adam and Chris Lanini is heating up. So there we go on screen, and Chris has heard you, Soup. He knows it's time to boogie, and he's going to try to start making some moves. And, Adam's done a good job. Once again, Adam, maybe with Andrew out of the play, might be a little bit more conservative if Chris drives it in there underneath him. But, this is a good race so far.
Yep. And neither one of them, that car you see on the very left of your screen, that's Scott Bolster. 31st to 6th. Again, what a great run from Scott. In between all of that, we won't have to go there, but Joe Branch sits in 5th. Look at Lanini and that fluorescent blue machine work on the Dodger blue car of Adam Blocker.
Justin Weaver's closed up a little bit on Dan Guerin, but nothing to get too excited about. He's only about a half a second behind, but I think it's getting to that point. These guys are all working lap 42 from that last run, so I think tires are starting to go a little bit off, so your choice of line is narrowing down to where you place that car when you're behind somebody.
12 to go. We're close. Can we finish under green? Let's hope so. Our leader coming up on the back of George Anzaldo, racing in the Turf Monkey onboard camera. There's our leader. George Anzaldo in 17th spot, 2 laps down. Sim Pit, Butt Kicker, and Turf Monkeys. Love it when I get to read that Turf Monkey Club. It's the highlight of my season. Kerhula now is going to get stuck. It'll be interesting to see what Anzaldo does. 9 to go.
9 to go, and not much going on up front. There's James Kerhula on your screen doing a great job. Keep maintaining that gap, even though they're going through lap traffic. Dan Guerin does an awesome job from his early mistake, battling his way back a second spot, and right behind him is Justin Weaver, who also has done a great job running a clean but aggressive race. Not really close enough to make a move, but he is there just in case a mistake happens.
James Kerhula does get around George Anzaldo, 2 veterans. And we have 6 to go. We're getting to the point of no return where an incident that brought out the yellow would end the race. Kerhula maybe wouldn't mind that right now. Guerin, half a second up on Justin Weaver. Weaver has nothing for him.
Let's give a big shout out to Big Joe as well. He's running a lonely 5th spot, started 20th, but he's done a good job running right up to the top 5 right near the end. Best battle is still Adam Blocker and Chris Lanini, but I think Chris Lanini's running out of a little bit of steam, and barring any kind of big mistake, I think we're seeing our finishing order.
Our leader comes around now with 3 to go. He's just clipping them off. Blocker looks to be comfortable in that position. Lanini, try as he might, could do nothing. The bright yellow machine of James Kerhula. 2 to go. He's got Tyler Groff in front of him. In Beethoven's Ninth Symphony, the choir sings, "Race, brothers, along your path like heroes towards victory." James Kerhula right now is singing that as there is 1 to go, half a lap, 2 corners between Kerhula and a victory. The winner of the Butt Kicker 200 goes to James Kerhula. Dan Guerin, Justin Weaver gets 2nd and 3rd.
Joe Branch and Big Joe coming in 4th and 5th. Scott Bolster doing a great job in 6th. Adam Blocker's able to hold off Chris Lanini, finishing 7th. Chris 8th. Michael Goodman 9th. Last car in the lead lap is Tyler Groff in that 10th position.
And there you have it. All right, the racing is over here at Richmond, but our broadcast is far from done. what we're going to do is take a short break, but don't go far because we will come back for the Plasma Track post-race, whatever the show is called. It's something like that. It's the Plasma Track post-race show. That's all you need to know, where we'll run down all the orders, talk to some of the drivers before we put a lock on the gate. Be back in a few.
The SimPit is an entertainment channel dedicated to the world of simulated motorsports. The SimPit is a leader in providing the sim racing community with news, reviews, interviews, DIY pieces, and instructional videos to make sim racing a better experience for all. Check us out at thesimpit.com or go to YouTube and just search for the SimPit. Streaming cyberspace into your place via the iRacing eSport Network. Welcome back to the Global Sim Racing channel and the Plasma Tracks Victory Lane post-race show. That's what it's called, the Plasma Tracks Victory Lane post-race show. Hey, if you're struggling to find something for the person who has everything, I have the website for you. Plasma-tracks.com not only produces original racetrack wall art, motorsports trophies, home decor, and motorsports fabrications are also available. I personally am going to ask to see if they can do my signature in one of their pieces of art. Boy, that would be cool on the wall. Am I vain or what? Words cannot do justice to the uniqueness of their wear. The only way to fully appreciate their artwork is to see it for yourself. But be warned, one visit and the next thing you know, you'll be trying to convince your spouse why you need a plasma track hanging in your home. See it all at plasma-tracks.com. Use this promotion code LRS2018 to get 25% off your order. And now let's give you 100% of the HPP finishing order for the Butt Kicker 200 here at Richmond. And
We're going to talk to him in a minute. I think he says it's all dumb luck that got the win. Once he got there, he could not be knocked off the front. James Krahula gets the win. Dan Guerin starts on the pole, spins the car, goes all the way back to the back, works his way back up, one spot short of the win in second. Justin Weaver and the Moby Sticky Machine comes home in third. Joe Branch and Joe Hassard round out your top 5. The back half of your top 10, Scott Bolster, Adam Blocker, Chris Lanini tries. He might to get around Blocker, never could get it done. Lanini has to settle for 8th. Michael Goodman, Tyler Graff round out your top 10. Richie?
Yeah, coming up in 11th spot, first car a lap down is Matthew Mercer, started 22nd, finished 11th. Brian Beer did a great job here, 35th to 12th. Samuel Ryman as well. Brian Yazik in 14th. Ron Hacker, 15th. George Zanzaldo finishes 16th. Greg West, 17th. Ed Tutwiler, 18th. Isaiah Dupree, 19th. And Ian Adams back in 20th.
Adams was fast, but got into a couple drivers this race. Robert Bluen hits Blackjack ahead of, he was tied for the lead coming in. Don't think he's going to be tied going out. Andrew Have-a-Catch-Kinsella has to settle for the double dux position. Bob Mikas and the Von Hansen Meat Machine goes 23rd, just ahead of Pierre Nightingale, who comes home in the double dozen spot. Joe Flanagan in the quarter century mark, ahead of the Racing Kangaroo Michael Gray. 27th, 28th, 29th, and 30th goes to Peter Edwins, Dustin Wardlow, the Candyman, Brandon Linkeman, and Chris Stouffer. And I'll just round out the rest of these. Bart Workman, Jack Bogan. Brian is not easy being Greenlee. He was our spotlighted driver, but he crashed his car before we can put the spotlight on him. Try again next time. Tony Schowen, Stefan Larkamp, our top rookie boy. We had an interview with him. He goes home in 35th. And Scott Johnson in 36th. We're going to shake things up a little bit. We're going to let former real-world IndyCar driver talk to the man who just won this race. Richie Hearn, go ahead and talk to James Krahula.
Yes, Mr. Krahula, great job out there. Obviously, probably not the qualifying position you were looking for, or maybe it was. Just tell us how it worked out for you, getting all the way up to the winning spot.
Yeah, there was no strategy in that. I hit the wall on the second lap, so I was stuck back there. Actually wanted to start up towards the front, but it was that's what allowed me to have luck and get up there and win the race. When I came in and pit during one of the last yellows, and then we went green. Everyone got stuck a lap down. I got up there in the lead, and the yellows just felt perfect after that. So I've said this a couple times tonight, but I would rather be lucky than good any day of the week.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. It all works out the same, whether you're good or lucky. A win's a win. So, yeah, that yellow flag, the way it worked out, it caught a lot of people off guard. And, we were kind of watching that as it went. And, like Adam Blocker and some of the other guys and Chris Lanini that were up front early but didn't pit, and then that yellow flag caught them a lap down. They had to work very hard to get back to it. And but you did a good job there, James. You definitely, even though you qualified where you were, you had a car to win, and you're able to hold those guys off.
Yeah, and it definitely we were fast, so we deserved to be up there if we qualified well. But we got into the lead, and then once you're up there, you can't get close to anyone else. So as much downforce as we had to run here tonight in order to get around the track, you could not get within. It seemed like around the second was where everyone would kind of top off, where you would kind of be stuck behind someone here tonight. And luckily with that clean air, just no one was able to get much closer to me than that. And the yellows flew, and I was able to get around the lap cars, and we maintained it. We held on, and again, it felt great. It's been a long time since I've won here, and they're coming less and less. These guys here are just absolutely incredible to race with, and it gets more and more difficult week in and week out. I just love running here. These guys are great. It's such a fun group. I love my team with No Name Racing. With Jake comes and hangs out every now and again, but we got Pierre, Joe, Jason, who's not here tonight, and yeah, it's just been a good year, and especially after last week. Being out on lap 2, this felt really cool. It means a lot to win in this league.
Yeah, no, I totally understand. And I'm sure it's not the way you thought it was going to work out, but it worked out great. So congratulations. And we look forward to seeing you next week.
Thank you, guys.
James Grahula, your winner here tonight. And now we're going to talk to a driver. I've been doing this a long time on GSRC. I've never seen a driver finish one position farther behind than he was qualified at that deserves the hard charger. Dan Guerin, you're our pole sitter. You come home in second, but my gosh, what a hard night's work for you.
Woo, doggy, was that a rough one, man. Taking that first, I'm like, okay, I need to be careful here on the start. And what do? I freaking step right on it, man. Just spin right out, drop all the way to the rear of the field. 35th place. I just avoided everything.
And it was rough because early on there was a lot of incidents happening in front of you. I think you were far enough back that you were out of the damage of those early incidents.
Ron called out a couple of them for me. He was up front there. I had seen one. I'm not sure who it was coming off turn 2. I just caught him at the last second. I just got out of the way. But the one wreck, I think with Dustin, he was sitting on the outside of turn 2. Bobby checked up and dove low, and I dove low behind him there, rear-ended him. Luckily, I didn't get any damage from that. I had everybody checking it out for me as close as they could, and they said they didn't see anything. And Bobby's rear wing looked fine too, but I had contact on it, so I figured I'd just be playing it safe, and she still felt good the rest of the race. So
got to the end, there was just no way with the dirty air for you to have anything for Krahula.
The dirty air is a major part of here. I tried first off the restart. Justin Weaver spun his tires, and I just about collected him. I dove underneath him, got it beside him, and just prayed to God that nothing else happened between us. And trying to catch James, I had a good 10 laps or so that I could stick with him, and then the tires just started going away. It's really hard on the tires.
Well, second place finish. I know it's not the win, but man, it feels like a win with what you did. Congratulations on making lemonade out of lemons.
Just give a quick shout out here to my sponsors, Dave Barber, Lock Precision, Scott Rupp with the Lock Precision, Midwest Simulations with Scott Rupp, and then the Drive for Suicide Prevention. So,
all good sponsors indeed. Congratulations, Dan Guerin, second place tonight. And now we're going to be able to talk to, we'll bring in the third place driver, which will be the man from Moby Dickies. We'll let Richie talk to Justin Weaver.
Justin, you there?
Yeah, I got you, boys.
Hey, man, great run. Started 12th, finished 3rd. Looked like you had a really strong car tonight, but it just really looked like the passing was really hard to get done.
The car was pretty solid tonight. It was. I felt really good on long runs because everybody would start falling off there a little bit, and I felt like my car would start to rotate. I was shifting down into 4th there, which was helping me get just a little bit of turn in the car. So I was using that to my advantage and just trying to keep as much clean air as possible on the wings. Because man, it was trying to pass people, and you had to get up on the wheel to get around some people, and if you got stuck behind in that dirty air, boy, it was it got some hairy situations out there as you guys saw, but it was definitely a pretty fun race, and I'm really incredibly pleased with the top 3 there. It was well done.
Yeah, it was a little bit of survival, a little bit of catching those yellow flags at the right moment. You were driving really aggressive, but I noted that you were aggressive, but you were being smart. But even trying to get around some of the lap cars seemed really tough, and it took laps after laps to try to make that move. And it is a fun place to race. I've raced there before. Anything else you'd like to say about the event?
It was a lot cleaner than I thought it was going to be. There was some tough racing out there, but there were some guys that used their heads. And some guys obviously didn't use their heads, but like you said, lap traffic was pretty brutal, just because the way you're going so fast and the cars are so aero dependent, and then people would keep it wound out on the top there and make it really difficult. And man, if you catch somebody at the wrong time, you can easily lose 3 or 4 tenths on somebody, and then it takes you 20 laps to get right back to where it was there. So, but I want to appreciate my my team there, 8 Ball Motorsports, and Mike Goodman there for all the help he does. Obviously Moby Dickies. We got top 3 for him, so going to keep this try to keep this points run going well here. So we've been doing pretty well here lately. So we're going to make those folks proud. That's for sure.
Yeah, you've had a good run here lately. Well, congratulations. And yeah, your teammate finished 10th or 9th there, so he had a good run as well. But really nicely done. Podium finish, tough place. And we look forward to seeing you next week.
Happy birthday, Soup.
Okay, that's not my birthday today. I think it's Sean Ambrose's birthday today. What do I know? All right. Hey, we're gonna get to talk to Joe Hazard. Joe, a really smart 5th place finish, I thought. Just stayed out of trouble. You have to be happy with it.
Oh, is this working? All right. Yeah.
Gotcha.
It was one of those races really hard to pass. I don't think I did a whole lot other than just kind of ride around and hit my pit stops, and yeah, it was about it. It was pretty quiet around me. I had to dodge a few wrecks, but that was the most exciting part.
Yeah, you got out there, and at the end, you were just racing along. I just saw you work your way slowly up you went. Nice job from you. Was it hard to drive when the tires would start to go away on some? We had a few long green flag runs.
Yeah, it was getting really tight. I just had to back up my corners a lot. I thought actually towards the end of the run, when Dan and Joe were in front of me, I thought I was gaining some ground on them to where I'd be able to maybe try to make a move, but passing on the low side probably wasn't going to happen just because of losing the momentum. But then they started pulling away from me, so I don't know. I just tried to take it easy. I didn't want to get bit by turn 2.
Yep.
It's bit me before. It's not fun. We're just trying to finish races right now. Top 5, get me up some points closer. I think I'm only like 35 points out of 3rd, so it's going to be a tight one.
Yeah, well, if it's any condolence to you, nobody was passing anybody tonight, so welcome to the club. Congratulations on a nice top 5.
All right, I missed you guys, so I thought I'd have to come say hi. So,
thanks.
Love you guys. Thank you for everything.
All right, always good to talk to Joe. Big Joe, he's like Cher. He doesn't just need a last name. It's just Big Joe. That's all you need to know. Joe Hazard, 5th place finish for him today. And what that means is it's time for us to wrap it up. We got to thank, first of all, the title sponsor, and that is First Medical Equipment. They've been a source of medical supplies and equipment in Burlington, Iowa area for years because of their superior commitment to provide the absolute best in product quality and service.
Yeah, butt kicker products add instant immersion to any game. Unlike a subwoofer that moves air and loses accuracy and force, butt kicker products move actual mass, producing a haptic immersion that's a powerful and accurate. Butt kicker products add that missing driver-to-car connection, bringing more realism and immersion to your sessions. See all the family of products at thebuttkicker.com and please use the promo code LION20 to get 20% off your next order.
I'm going to read the in-race sponsor plug for this one because we didn't get a chance to do it. This is for HPP. They are awarding a Formula Racing wheel valued at just under $1,500 to the season champion. SLI Pro Display, 12-position rotaries for display, momentary push buttons, 2-way toggle switches, rotary encoders and tactile feedback, integrated paddle shifters, and a Hewlett-Packard 57-10A dual-column gas chronometer with flame analysis detectors. HPP hydraulic pedals and their accessories set the standard for simulation racing. Visit hppsimulations.com to check it all out. HPP, designed to go fast, built to last.
To contact any of the sponsors you see on the screen right now, go to the LionheartRacingSeries.com, click on the 2018 sponsors, read or scroll to the bottom where you can click on the company logo.
On screen now are just some of the company's equipment and software that made this broadcast possible. The iconic music that lets your ears alert your eyes you're watching a GSRC production comes courtesy of Eric Echolm and June Lalonde. See the screen to how to contact each of them.
The Lionheart IndyCar Series returns in 1 week, Wednesday, September 26th for the Fish Motors 200 at the Charlotte Motor Speedway Oval. GSRC via the iRacing Esports Network will be there to bring you all the action. We hope you join us. Sliding across the screen now are some upcoming broadcasts, so check those out and mark them down on your calendar. If you'd like more information about GSRC, including a complete list of all future broadcasts, you can find it all at www.globalsimracingchannel.com. We're also on Twitter at GSR Channel, Facebook at Global Sim Racing Channel, and Instagram at GSRC_Graham. And if you're not already a GSRC YouTube channel subscriber, you can become one by simply visiting our YouTube channel and hitting the subscribe button.
Finally, on behalf of the entire crew, Richie, Amjed, and Dougie, Simon and Pondexter, the two stat boys, and of course, Jackson and Andy in the graphics department, I'd like to thank all of you for watching. Remember, you are watching us on the iRacing Esports Network. That's kind of special. And we hope you had a good time. And if you missed, we'll be back again next time, so don't want to miss that. Right now, before I fumble through any more of this, don't ad-lib the ending. I just have to say, look, it says right here, we're off to have fun storming the castle. So until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.